You don't have time to wait. You really don't. You may think you do. And maybe you have some time. I've thought I've had a lot of time. But you don't have time to wait. I plan to come back to YouTube for a long time now, and I'll discuss that later in the video, but recently, I lost my father. My dad died very unexpectedly, exactly a month ago to the day that I'm recording this. And I didn't plan on the date working out that way, but that's what happened. And in moments like that, it grants a lot of clarity and shows you how limited time can be, even though it feels like we have so much of it. It makes you see how fragile life can be. I've always been someone who plans and overthinks endlessly. But in moments like that, you realize that the perfect time never comes, and you just have now. You just have the things that you will actually do here and now, whether you've planned perfectly, whether you've figured out every detail, everything that you're going to do in the future. You actually just don't know that you have the time. If something really matters to you, do it now. And that's the whole point of this video and my entire return to YouTube. That's what this is all about. I spent a lot of time thinking about what to take from the situation, and I'm sure I'll spend the rest of my life considering how losing your father, especially as a man, will just continue to impact life going forward. But as I was thinking about all sorts of biblical wisdom and different things that I wanted to really take moving forward, there was a phrase from a podcast that I like. You probably have never heard of it. It's called popcorn culture. And it's a podcast about two nerdy brothers talking about life. And I love it. And who cares? But one of the brothers has constantly been saying this thing. He says, make bold choices. And as I distill down all the things I'm taking from my life situation, the thought that rang out in my head was this guy's quote, make bold choices. Because life isn't going to wait for you to have the courage to catch up. We just need to do things. We need to realize we don't have time and make bold choices. In my life, I've spent a lot of time hesitating. You call it thinking, you call it planning, but it's mostly hesitating, waiting for the perfect moment for things to start. And my dad wasn't like that. He would overthink on usually silly, ridiculous things. But he didn't wait for something to be perfect or even always logical. He just did things. So, for example, if you happen to know him, which you probably do because no one else is going to be watching this channel right now. If you knew him, you knew he liked to make very, very low budget amateur sci-fi movies. And he put a ton of planning into it in the best way, not in the procrastinating, overthinking way that I do. He committed to spending at least an hour a day that he would try to spend on making this bizarre little low budget movie. And as we are going through his things, you know, he had full scripts for this movie. He had his actors lined up for the movie. He had a host of props, very bizarre props at times. He was building an entire spaceship cockpit in his back shed. And he just did the thing that he wanted to do. And he didn't care what other people thought about it. He didn't care if other people thought it was silly. He cared about it because he loved it. And that teaches me something about passion and presence and just actually doing the thing that you find meaningful, whether anyone else does or not. And now that he's gone, that lesson rings more clear, that you can't spend time waiting for permission to do the things that you really deeply care about. The problem that we tend to face in life is that most of us are stuck in the waiting room, if you will. We are always almost ready, and I've been doing this for a long time across a host of different domains. Most of my goals have not really changed from 10 years ago. As far as certain ones go, certain things have changed, but for the most part, I would like to start tomorrow, next week, New Year's, the same exact things that I wanted to do a decade ago. Because you kind of know what you want to do. We're always almost ready. I really want to start going to the gym. I have a great plan in place. I really want to start that diet. I really want to start that business. I really think it would be beneficial if I started reading the Bible more, praying more, doing different spiritual things. We always are almost ready to start, and we think more planning equals more progress. And we don't want to be reckless. But more planning is usually just a way of hiding, of procrastinating, of pushing everything we want out into a future reality. And this is how people lose decades. People lose decades waiting to start a thing, almost being ready to start a thing, whatever it is. I want to work on my marriage. I want to work on my faith. I want to work on my health. We always want to do this or that, and then maybe we think if we have more time, if we have more planning, that planning equals progress. So most of us aren't actually lazy. We're just waiting for a certainty that will never come. The Bible doesn't sugarcoat this. While this may be a newly felt revelation to me, the Bible has been talking about this for its entire existence. James 4:14 says that our life is like a mist. It's like a vapor. It's here one moment and it's gone the next. Proverbs 27:1 tells us not to boast of tomorrow because you don't know what a day will bring. And those can be helpful. It's divine wisdom. Of course it can be helpful. But it hits differently after you lose someone completely unexpectedly. Someone incredibly important. Someone who raised you and gave everything, and I don't even know that I fully comprehend yet how much more real concepts like that are to me. But his passing reminds me there is no perfect time. There's nothing that you should really be waiting for. Yes, don't be reckless, don't be ridiculous, don't be insane, but tomorrow is not promised to anyone. If something is deeply on your heart to do, no matter what it is, if it's creating something, if it's reconciling with someone, if it's serving in a particular way, don't wait for someday, because someday doesn't come. Someday isn't real. I don't know about you, but I liked to tell myself that I was being wise by waiting. I was being wise by extra planning, extra thought, extra everything. The insane levels of clarity and organization and everything about this putting things off, that this was wisdom, but wisdom without movement becomes stagnation. The truth is, clarity doesn't come before action. You can have ideas, you can have thoughts, you can have plans, but true clarity, you can't have a completely crystallized concept of what a thing will be. Clarity doesn't come before action. Clarity comes through action. Think of Peter stepping out of the boat. Faith wasn't waiting for certainty. In that instance, faith was stepping into uncertainty because the call was real. And that's what make bold choices means to me. It's faith in action. When you decide to move, God can steer you, but if you're frozen, if you're stuck, if you're stagnant, you're hard to steer. So here's the question for you. If you really believed your time was limited, what's the one thing you would finally start? Maybe it's a project, a relationship, a conversation, a calling. Write down one thing and take the smallest possible step toward it today. I've taken way too many steps to finally record this video, and I've been nervous and uncomfortable the whole time, even though I did this for a while years ago. Nothing about it's going to be easy, but it will be worth it because we don't actually need perfection. This video will be, forever will be, far from perfect. But we do need some motion. We do need motion in the direction of the things that we feel deeply about. And to give you a Bible verse, Colossians 3:23, it tells us, whatever you do, do it heartily as unto the Lord. So whatever you find yourself doing, do it well, do it passionately, as if you're doing it for the Lord, because hopefully, depending on what you're doing, you are doing it for the Lord. And this verse frees us from perfection and calls us to devotion. So if you're finding this video, you may or may not know, this is I'll call it my second real go around with YouTube. I started this channel, Order of Eden, January 1st of 2020. I did 3 videos a week for about 8 months, and then got burned out and stopped, and tried to restart it a couple times. And I've wanted to restart ever since. I've basically been waiting to restart this channel to record a simple video for about 5 years. I've had half-baked plans, I've had outlines, I've had strategies and self-talk and different things, and I kept waiting for everything to just come together perfectly, for everything to feel right, but it never did. Now, after everything that's happened with my dad, I realized the best way to honor people who helped shape you is to live out what they taught you. My dad was passionate and curious, and he just acted on what he loved. And that's what I'm trying to carry forward here. And God only knows what it will look like. Hopefully God knows what it'll look like, because I don't have a great idea. I've had countless ideas. But until you actually take action, none of these things really matter all that much, because you don't know how things are going to go. I'll leave you with one more verse and then we'll be done with this video. Ecclesiastes 11:4 says, "Whoever watches the wind will not plant. Whoever looks at the clouds will not reap." Now, we don't live in an agricultural society, but that verse really sums up the concept that I'm trying to get across in this video. If you're always waiting, if you're always planning and waiting for the perfect circumstances, then you will never do anything. If you wait for the perfect conditions, you'll never start. And that's why I'm back here, because I want to stop waiting and start building. So if this resonates with you, then stick around. See the video next week. It'll be interesting to see what this channel actually ends up being about, because I have so many ideas, and only action is going to help me cut out different things and clarify and understand exactly what we're going to do with this. But I intend to talk about things like this, different theological, philosophical, life-driven thoughts that hopefully are an encouragement and help to you as much as they are to me. I plan to talk about my very bizarre life as an assistant pastor with a full-time job doing trash, now doing a YouTube channel with, supporting my wife and daughter. As if I don't have enough to do, we're starting a YouTube channel back up. And just different theological topics, church topics, maybe if politics cross with church topics, we shall see. But there's going to be a lot going on here. So I hope you at least took something from this video, and whatever it is that you're putting off, the big thing that you know you should be doing, that you've wanted to be doing for possibly years, like me. Life is short. Make bold choices. I'll see you in the next one.